Okay, so continuing the Chazorah. So the point of the Maimer, the flow of the Maimer rather, is to explain why the pasuk says twice, to explain the whole India, the whole why Yafas shall avdei avos. Why the conversation of Eliezer is recorded in such detail, and dinim and halachas are just learned from a diuk. The Gemara just notes that it's more beautiful. The question is why, and the answer is because this is all about the yichud of Yitzchak and Rivka. This is all the achana. As I mentioned, that's really answer the question, because then the marriage should be related barichus, not the whole shlichus. That's the whole nakud of Chayisora Tovshin and Beis that Rabbi asked the question there and answers that it's the shliach has to be that gosh is on the shliach. What the shliach has to affect has to be effective within himself, and therefore the whole story is about the shlichus. And then you do it. Then a few psukim, the whole thing is done. Chasana lived happily ever after. It's all very good, but the ikar avodah is the avodah. The whole point of the sikha was that everybody, this generation, it's already revealed in a revealed way that everybody's a shliach of Nasi Terei, who himself is a shliach. At any rate, so to explain all of this in avodah, so it began. That thing of Yitzchak is digging wells. This is the avodah malamata lamaila. The whole arich is there in how contrasting the neshama and the guf are, and therefore the tremendous hell of Hester the neshama faces. And the digging, large boulders, smaller boulders, there's obvious things, there's subtle things. And in Avodah, he said, h'tשכ, that means learning more than you're accustomed to. And in mitzvahs, tzedakah, ma'asin, forcing oneself to give more than one's comfortable. Bittul before davening, which really is Krishna Shalamita, so we're up to that. Krishna Shalamita is really the bittul before davening, the night before. So this is all digging. You just described some of the aspects of digging. And this is all avodah malamata lamaila to reveal the fiery love. It's a bit of a contradiction because the water's coming up, but the nakud is it's an ava, kerish be'esh, it's ascending as opposed to the usual state of water, which is the descend, which is Avram's avodah. Avram's avodah is bringing it down, saturating the world with the truth, with love, that it's an Eibush, that's all coming from above. But the Yitzchak, the avodah is the ava, the reaching up. So in this, there are three dargas, three loves, the three be'iras corresponding to b'chol love, to understand that, again, briefly, the Gemara points out the stira, do we gather the corn or the others? So the Gemara answers, depends. When we do the Ratzon of Hashem, then others will. If not, after the Gondche, you'll gather it yourself. So the Marsha actually first brings from the Magid asks, and so the Marsha asks, but after the Gondche is a reward for allegiance, for keeping the mitzvahs. When you come to listen, I will send the rain in its right time, and so on. This is called Ein Eisin, it's not doing the will of Hashem. She says, yeah, because you contrast to the first parasha, you see what's missing here is B'chol B'itcha. It says, that's where it stops. First of all, and also it's plural, many other chilukim. So since it's missing b'chol b'itcha, that's not considered Eisin Tzedek Shembakim. The Rebbe's question is, but it still is. Okay, it's not b'shleimus. So what's the shot? The answer is the oimik inyan taka, the oimik inyan, not just the shleimus, a new level. If we're just being you wrong, it's not fair to say that if you're serving Hashem, you're not doing His will. If we're just looking, if B'chol Meitcha only adds a shleimus, but B'chol Meitcha doesn't add a shleimus. B'chol Meitcha is the pnimius hakavana, without which, in fact, everything is left wanting. There's a big gap. That's how the Eibush is let in. B'chol Meitcha. So that, in the end, that's the real oisin ritzoynoi, the pnimius hakavana. And the ritzoynoi shel mokim, which is in dafkin mokim, dir b'tachtonim, which is the relationship with each one of us individuals. They're continuing now. Eis Dalet. So Eis Dalet began, and some of you may didn't receive this, but an updated version also. We numbered, because he goes back and forth, we numbered the 6 dargis that he speaks of here, and to make it easy, they're numbered on the paper, and you can see it on the sheet, as well as what Abiyad the Klolis is. So that's clear when we read the square brackets here. So briefly, we just go through it, overview. So what's Oisin in Tzedek Shemokim? So he establishes that the Rotzen is Makif, and Mokim is obviously a contained Pnimius Dika place. Pnimius means where the Oir is integrated with the Keli. That's what Pnimius means. Koiches Pnimium of the Nefesh, as opposed to Koiches Makifim. These are integrated faculties, each faculty with its Keli, the eye to see, the ear to hear, and so on. These are Koiches Pnimium, where the Oir is mislabish in the Keli, the Neshama, the Guf, the Oir in the Keli. Whereas a Koich Makif means it's transcendent, fundamentally transcends, not bound to particular Keli. Rotzen, the endless wills could possibly be. Seichel is Seichel, Amidus, Amidus. So Rotzen is a Koich Makifi, meaning it's not distant, obviously. It's more present, deeper, more felt. But it's Makif, it's not bound to a Keli. So Oisin Ritzoynoi shel mokim means Yichud Kutchebrichos Ushchinte, or restated Yichud Soiviv Mamali. Right, the parallel of Soiviv Kalamni in the Nefesh is will, which transcends all of the faculties, can manipulate them, can close them, can open them. It's even in Midas, in Seichel, it's easier to see. If you don't want to understand something, you won't. And if you do want to understand and you really want, then like Kusha Lepler, one can expand the parameters of one's IQ just by the dint of sheer will. Expand it, open the mind, hammer away. It was done by few people, but we could all do it. It's easy to see in Seichel, but even in Midas, and Midas control. If somebody has an agenda, he wants to like somebody. He wants to like them because of some benefit. Then he'll manipulate the Midas, and he'll not convince himself. It is kind of convince himself, but he will force himself to like the person. And opposite is also true. You don't want to like this person because of whatever perceived slight. Then even though you would mesh and there's a chemistry, you would like it. The Midas, you won't. The Rotzen will stop the love. The Rotzen will compel. That's how powerful the Rotzen is. Even emotions, it can manipulate. Certainly behavior. So that's so now it goes on from the end. This was the introduction to Eis Dalet till the end of Eis Dalet, the 6 dargis. Now I'm not going to go. I'll just cheat and read it from our text, because when you chaz, which I hope you do, when you have the numbers, it's easy to it's much easier to follow. So the first oifens, quite simply, is Yichud Zoh Malchus. Zoh Mashpia. Zoh, it's all relative. That's not pointed. It's als relative. And again, as we point out all the time, as a kid, and you hear this answer, you ask, come running to the Mashpia, but there it says it's another Madrege. Depends where you speak, it's all relative. Go back, go sit down. So as a kid, sometimes this guy cop out, easy answer, everything is Ventzach from Beret, it's all relative. But of course the answer is it has to be. It's one Eibishter, and there's Achtus in everything. And the whole bottom line, the whole system of Ishtalshalos is based on yes and no. These are creations. Gilui, not Gilui. Bligvul, Gvul, these are decisions of Atzmos, of the Eibishter to express. The whole notion of expression is the biggest chiddush. Express where? And then Mulvadai. The biggest chiddush is there should be the notion of notions. There should be a notion. So it all starts with a binary system. Yeah or nicht. Gilui, Gvul, Oir, Keli. That's it carries through. Why? Because since this before that, since they wish to desire, no explanation for this. In Atzmos, you want to do the that means two things. It means Elyon and Tacht. Right there, when he says Tachten, he's already articulated. He says the Elyon. So there's two. It's a whole binary system of Elyon, Tachten, Oir and Keli, Bligvul and Gvul. And the whole kavanah is that we are created in a world of Tachten, where Tachten, that's low, there is high. Gilui expresses, Helim conceals. It's the most fundamental fact of life. That there's a yes and there's a no. And we're in the no. Not K-N-O-W, but no. The lowest level of the no. No Gilui. In terms of Elikus. So the kavanah is the yichud. The yichud meaning that we should reveal it's all him. Revelation, concealment, bligvul, gvul, oir, keli, it's all him. That's the yichud. That's what it means. The yichud. And so on. That's what it simply means. The whole kavanah is we live in this world of profound gvul and helevasted. It should be revealed that all of this is as him equally. Sof Kosof equally as Havaya is his greatest revelation. So that's pshat that Havaya is revealed here. When we see Eibishter here in everything, in his full revelation, that's Havaya revealed in Teva. Bemis didn't go to Pratim there. Bemis, it's Havaya, Likim, and Atzmos that causes the yichud, but I'm just adding nuance. I'm saying this now. It's appreciated that its greatest revelation and its greatest concealment is all equally here. And then the two fuse, because they are one. Then Gvul and Bligvul fuse. Who needs Gvul and Bligvul to fuse? Who needs it? Because it's his Gvul, his Bligvul fusing is the expression of him. Hence this yichud, he identifies six broad levels here. But I think he makes the point even. It says all Seder Shtalshemus. So what are the 6 levels? Number one, from the bottom up. Zoh and Malchus, that's the classic. Kutchebrichu is Zoh and Shchinte is Malchus. So Kutchebrichu transcendent, Shechina indwelling, broadest terms. The next model, Kutchebrichu is not Zoh, we're going higher. We're saying, no, actually we're going lower. This is going lower. Sorry. Secondly identifies as going lower. It goes lower, and then he goes to the Lifnatzin. So the first 4 levels progresses lower. My apologies. So then there's Malchus Datzilus. That's Kutchebrichu. Going lower now. Mashpia Lagabi what? Malchus and Bia. Isn't that Yichus, but that's the bottom line. That's not the Yichud. The first one, Zoh and Malchus, all in Atzilus. Now we're just talking in Atzilus as Ashpa, in Bia. Again, Kutchebrichu Shchinte. But who's the Mashpia? Malchus Datzilus. And who's the Makabel? Malchus, as Malchus descends in Bia. There was an Ashtikal Adichas, we have to visit there. Some very subtle, I don't know if the Chidushim or not, but we'll revisit that. 3 is going lower. Sorry, now it's going higher. It's Atzilus. Chachman bin Asay. First he went Atzilus, Bia, now back in Atzilus. 3, Chachman bin, that's why it's confusing a bit. Chachman bin, that's the 3rd thing. Fusion, Chachman is Mashpia, bin is Mekabel, Chachman is Oir. Boom, the light comes on, you see. It's not differentiated to the Seichel, it's just the truth. Selichtik, you know they have the answer. You know you have the answer. You can't articulate it. It's chachma, you see it. Like we said many times, the example is being in an unfamiliar dark room and you're trying to go out and the door light opens for a second. Or even though the door goes, just the light. So you took it all in. You have to process it later, but that is the ear. And bina is the processing, binyan, building, feminine. That's again, higher still, Kesed and Chachma. Kesed is Ayin, Chachma is already tzir of Chachma, it's all relative. Then he went higher still. Number 5, the Ein Sof, Igel HaGodol, that is Kutche Brichu, and the Kav, which is rooted in Malchus, the Ein Sof, that's Shechina. So it includes both. Malchus, the Ein Sof, and the Kav that it produces, that's the Shechina, the indwelling, already some degree of Eris and Kalim. Okay, we spoke about this Barichas and we learned about it. Now we're just getting an overview of the levels. Now, here in the brackets that we wrote in the sheet about the Kav, detail in the Kav, that the Etzem HaKav is expressed in Ak, and then Ha'orah is in Akudim, Nekudim, and Vrudim, right? So Akudim is all the Eris in one Keli, it's the highest level after Ak, or the Esesviris. Then comes Toyu, that's the Kudim points, because now the Eid HaBlikvul asserts itself, or the Gvul attempts, the Gvul attempts that's at the Kavanah to take grasp of the Eid HaBlikvul. That's a shattering initial encounter. And then comes Vrudim, belted, wrapped, that's Atzilus. There was just detail in the Kav. There's the Etzem HaKav, and then there's the Ha'orah of the Kav. Without going to, these are just words right now, but again, let's get the language straight. And then 6, this is all, when we speak about the Kav, that's already post-Tzimtzum. The Kav is what is the Ein Sof, penetrating the Tzimtzum, as it were, and then producing, as a result of the Tzimtzum, a graded revelation of a Likus. Now we're talking Kutche Brichu Shechinte, all Lifnei HaTzimtzum, completely. And that is the Oid Mitzad Atzma is Lifnei HaTzimtzum. That's Kutche Brichu, Lifnei HaTzimtzum. And the Chitzonius Lifnei HaTzimtzum, that's Shechinte. So explained again, for newcomers, I'm just saying words right now. But it's very important when we learn ourselves that we teach it to ourselves. And again, the test is you're explaining this to an intelligent McGill student, never heard of anything. Just explain this to him. What are you talking about? And he's not Lakanta and really wants to understand. And pure English. If you can't explain it to him, then they don't understand it. So, the essence of the light. Light? There's light there? What are you talking about? What do you mean by light? Starting with that. Essence, chitzonius of oil. So we talked about it, and the kud is the general foundation as it means pnimis hakavana, or kavana as a means yet for an end. In general, that's the difference. There's rotzen, pnimis rotzen. There's rotzen, you want something, no one's forcing you, but that's just a means. The pnimis rotzen is, no, this is it. That in general is the difference, at any rate. So for the bottom of the page is, again, abiyah klolis, which he makes, that's the language he uses in the Maimers, abiyah klolis. We just wrote it out, what's what. Okay. So let's continue. That was Ois Dalet. The most important conclusion of Ois Dalet we didn't say, and that is when a Yid does a mitzvah, this is what he's doing. He's being mamshich, kutche bricha, in shchinte, in all of its levels, all the way down, from the highest levels to the lowest levels. So the question is, why Mishmar Tishma? What's missing? keep the mitzvahs. Notwithstanding, there's no b'chol ma'itcha. But it's the Maisa mitzvah which does that. And a Maisa wa'ikah. The Chiddush of the Maimer is, not the Chiddush of this Maimer, but what the Maimer is explaining, and of course there are many Chiddushim in the Maimer which Halavai we could identify and appreciate, is that, yeah, it's true that mitzvahs are mamshech atzmos. But b'pnimius, you need rusa deliba. B'pnimius of what? B'pnimius of me. And then if in me, then the world too. As he says then, in Tzutzik Dusha, just drawn to this. The battle is over. But that's the true Eisin Tzernei Shamokim. Let's continue in the Chazorah. Help me as you go along. You just broad, sweeping Chazorah. This is Eisin Tzernei Shamokim Rotzen. Yisoyviv and Mokim is Mamalik. But Emek HaMelech, but we'll leave that because he moves on and the shita. Okay, we mentioned it, but it's so interesting that he brings it and then doesn't. So Emek HaMelech says that what's Mokim? Mokim is the eagle that surrounds the Mokim Cholol. That's Mokim. He says no. Look at the Torah of the Arizal with B'chaim Vital, and that's what they differentiated the Emek HaMelech and the B'chaim Vital in Aries is one of them. Here he says that the Mokim is post Tzimtzum, and the Ein Sof, the Bligvul, is no Mokim like Midas HaOlamis, and that's Kutsha Bricha. That's what he continues with. Okay. So Mokim is a Malakalam, Mokim is the Amshocha, V'Rotz, and all the levels we described before in Mokim. And then there was the diak of, which you mentioned yesterday, quickly again, Eisin, Ritzoyne, Shamokim, V'Rotz, and Stam. What he's asking is, the Maimech Chazal could have said, this is Bizman, Eisin, Harotzen, Shal Mokim. Bizman, Eisin, or just Rotzen, Shal Mokim. What the Ritzoynoi seems to imply that his Rotzen is in the Mokim. The answer is yes. That Malchus is rooted higher than Zoh. Malchus is Mokim. Malchus is rooted in Pnimius Atik. And Zoh in Arich. And so therefore the whole Avodah of Zoh is to me'orer the Sheirish of Malchus. While Avodah of the Neshama is to me'orer the Sheirish of the Guf. Asa of Toya, which is higher than the overt Sheirish of the Neshama. Malchus, that's Chacham, that's Ilus. The Etzim is Chelik Alakab. We're speaking about the Sheirish in terms of a traceable source. We can see its identity. That's Malchus, Chacham, that's Ilus. And the Nefesh HaBamis comes from a higher Sheirish. So the Eisin Ritzoynoi, the Pnimius HaRotzen is in Mokim. Is in Mokim. In the Helam, the Oir is Megala, but the Oir is Megala in the place of Helam, that you are even a greater revelation than I am. That's what the Oir is Megala. That's what Yitzchak is trying to do in benching Yosef. So Swiss, mein Kind, you come from a higher place, crazy higher place. That's your potential. So he was trying to be aided by him. So this is, now we'll understand, so why do we need the Ava B'chol Ma'itcha? Because he says in Zoya that let's machshav b'tfisa bei, aval nitvas iu berusa delibe. No thought, no asoga can understand him, but he is grasped, with the desire of the heart. And that's the Ava B'chol Ma'itcha. So just look at the Oishas, that even though that through Ma'isa Mitzvahs Yimamshech Sever, still you need B'chol Ma'itcha. Nitvas iu. Nitvas means grasp. The point here is Pnimius, and this accords with the whole general thrust of the Rebbe's Memoriam, that the Kavan is the Yid, the Dir in the end is you. I am the Dir, in the deepest way. Like a house, the whole point of the house is a nice home. is to be one with your family. Therein is, that's dir. The Kodesh HaKadosh, where Eden and Ebesh, the Welt and Likus become one inseparably. So the Shvi Bepnimius, the person, so Rusa de Libre. So the beer is that these three, beer in you now, continuing, is that there's three dargas, not just two. There's Eisin, there's Seifev Mamalin, there's the Etzem Seifev. Right? So Etzem, and then Erabligvul, Eragvul. So that's what he says. He says there's three ways, this is important to learn over properly. There's three ways that there's an Amshacha from Mashpia to Makabel, Mailan Matas, Ishtalshalus. One way is the way Ishtalshalus works. It's Ilu v'Olol. That's the way that's pre-Avodah, basically. The natural state. Cause and effect. The Ratzon gives rise to Chachma, and so on, and so it continues down the chain. But in such a case, the alien is only a cause, and the alien is not drawn, doesn't become part of the world of the Makabel. As we see, Ratzon and Seichel. So a person wants to learn. Can it be said that that's his Ratzon? No, he's a million other Ritzonos. The Ratzon is now encapsulated in this. No, it sparked it. It did its job now. Learn. And the Ratzon will drive it. Learn. But certainly you're not bound to the Ratzon. The Ratzon is rooted in, we defined it earlier, what is the Ratzon? It's the will to live, to survive, which is not, and the will to express, to be free. To express every part of me, whatever, it's not just everything. It's a desire to be free, to self-express. So therefore, it's not bound to any particular expression. It's what he wants right now. But that's the Ratzon? No. So that's one of, likewise, Seichel and Midas, a second moshel. So Seichel produces Midas. But once the Midah, the heart is fired up, the Seichel recedes. If a person is going to re-enter his world of Seichel, the whole Midah, the whole emotion will cool, because Seichel says, another objective, another perspective. It's completely a different world. It's objective, and Midas is subjective. Can't coexist. So that kind of Amshacha, that's not the true Yichud. Then there's Amshacha, and he says it's mitzvahs, basically. The mitzvahs are mamshech sevakalam lemata, and all of the dargas. However, that is akin to when the upper is taka revealed in the mata, but overwhelms the mata. Overwhelms the mata, not just sparks it, but overwhelms the mata. That would mean a person does things he normally could not do. Just couldn't lift this, couldn't do this. But the will to save the child, whatever it is, there just extraordinary things happen. And the kelim are just in this battle. So that's Amshacha Lamata, and the analogy for that is Daniel's colleagues who fainted, but it wasn't Bepnimius. They felt something was going on, Malach, but they didn't see it. But they felt it. So there was the Amshacha, overwhelmed them, they fainted. That's not the Kavan. The Kavan is that, like Daniel, he saw it and was integrated. But Pnimius, that's Rusa Delib. Doing the mitzvah is takamam shechatzmos. But the kavan is, I want to be part of you, but Pnimius in your life. In order for that to happen, that's Rusa Delib, and that draws on the etzem aseva means. It means that's etzem aseva means. That's what I want. That's my Pnimius kavanah. When you do the mitzvah, it's not even the mitzvah so much that I want. It's I want you doing the mitzvah. You do the mitzvah, and it's precious. Tefillin are nice, but you don't put them on. They're holy, even without putting them on. They're not the kavan. The kavan say, you put them on. Oh, now it's everything. Because now I've got you. And you, meaning not just your action, but you, that's the Rusa Delib. We'll continue in more detail, just a beautiful arichas a little bit at the end in Avodah, what that means. So tomorrow, friends, tomorrow is 6 o'clock. Tomorrow's Friday. If somebody has another answer to this, I don't know.